Turning now to Sacramento, where Governor Newsom is expected to make a big announcement on homelessness and COVID-19. Let's listen in live.
Mayor Steinberg, who's here, Karen Larson, who's from the county. It's around the issue of homelessness. We are at a facility here in the Sacramento area that currently has 30 individuals that were out on the streets and encampments that were brought into this hotel/motel just recently to get them off the street, to begin the process of basically let me back up, to basically decompress, but moreover to address the real vulnerabilities of homelessness in this state and the issues of COVID-19 as it relates to the impact on the homeless population throughout the state. This has been a point of real concern for all of us for a number of months, a top priority since the COVID crisis began to manifest. And we're very pleased today with the partnership that we have with FEMA, the partnerships we have with counties up and down the state of California, that we've identified roughly 7,000 hotel rooms that are now in our possession, where we have occupancy agreements. And we are now building partnerships throughout the state of California to begin to get folks into these sites. Some 6,867 hotel rooms, to be exact, now are in our possession, on the way to getting 15,000 in the phase one of our efforts. FEMA, remarkably, and to their credit, have created a template, first in the nation, in partnership with the state of California, where FEMA is providing 75% reimbursements for this project. This is first in the nation. Their support is profoundly significant to address this crisis head on. It's all around making sure that we address the most vulnerable Californians with the kind of acuity and focus that is required at this moment. The bucket of support for FEMA is very focused. It's not limitless by any stretch of the imagination. It's focused specifically on individual homeless populations that have been exposed to the virus, that specifically are deemed high risk. That would be our seniors out in the streets and sidewalks, in encampments and in tents, and those that have tested positive for COVID-19. That's the bucket for reimbursement that FEMA has advanced. It's all around saving lives, and it's all around, as I suggest, decompressing our medical system, particularly our hospitals in the state of California. We're already seeing hundreds and hundreds of individuals now off the streets and sidewalks and into these non-congregate sites. And I'll reinforce that frame, non-congregate sites. What we want to do is relieve the stress in our shelter system so we can separate individuals and ultimately, again, relieve the impact in our medical care delivery system. If left unaddressed, we allow our most vulnerable residents in the state of California to be exposed to this virus. This was the crisis that predated the current crisis in the state of California, and we're doing everything in our power to meet it head on. It's a county-state partnership with the county fundamentally driving the car and the state of California building the car. We put together the technical teams of expertise. We are working with the counties as they identify these sites to get the operating agreements up and running, to make sure they're reimbursed appropriately, and to make sure that we have essential staffing needs met at these sites. Let me be specific about what I mean by essential staffing needs. We are doing laundry service. We are having an intake process that is appropriate to the site. To the extent security is an issue, we will make sure we attach some priority to security, but doing something else that's profoundly insignificant. We had Chef Jose Andres of World Central Kitchen, who's just been extraordinary. He was there with us when the Grand Princess cruise came into the state of California, providing meals as we began the process of decompressing and getting people off that ship. He was there providing 3 meals a day for all the passengers and crew. Well, his organization is now going to be providing 3 meals a day for all our homeless on these sites. An incredible contribution to these efforts, and it just shows you the spirit of people meeting this moment, the spirit that defines this moment, the spirit of generosity and support. And so I just cannot thank a World Central Kitchen enough for connecting themselves to this cause, connecting themselves to this movement, and providing those meals, working with local restaurateurs in each of the regions throughout the state of California to help support these efforts. So that's the framework of what we're doing. Phase one, 15,000 units, roughly 7,000 that we've already identified. We begin to move these contracts county by county, county-run, state-led in terms of providing the framework of support. But we recognize the county stress, the city stress as it relates to resources. And that's why it's important that I remind all of you that we have provided some $800 million in addition to the work we're doing to identify these motels and hotels throughout the state of California. $800 million of award grants have gone out just in the last number of weeks. The $650 million that was approved in last year's budget to the cities and counties and our COCs to provide for support services and identify sites to address the homeless crisis, and the $150 million because of the leadership of Tony Atkins and Anthony Rendon that we were able to prioritize on an emergency basis just a few weeks back through our budget appropriation. So $800 million of grants, $150 million of the new dollars that are now out. Award letters have already gone out to support this effort. 75% reimbursement from FEMA. There should be no excuse for us to begin to scale these operations in the next days and weeks. And it can't come soon enough, because we had, of course, that one tragic death, the homeless individual in Santa Clara, and we had a number of counties in the last days that have reported incidences of positive test results in counties large and small, including San Francisco, but other counties in LA that have shown at least a dozen, in fact, 14 in our last count. By the way, that's an undercount. We know that's just what's been reported to us, but heightened concern around the need to do more in our congregate facilities to isolate people into shelters like this and provide those basic essential services as we work through this crisis. Just a few final points before I bring over the head of our homeless task force, Mayor Darrell Steinberg, to say a few words. It's important to note as well that this is also an operation being supported by the support of the federal government. $118.5 million of direct homeless grants have come from the CARES Act, the $2.2 trillion federal stimulus. So that's additional resources that we'll be quickly dispersing throughout the state of California to augment some of the concerns around these facilities being temporary. And I want to make this point before I bring up the mayor. The anxiety often is, well, this is wonderful to help us for 3-4 months to get us through this crisis. But what happens after that? If you're a county leader, you're saying, I'm not sure we are in a position to have the resources to continue these operations. That's why the federal dollars are important. That's why I'm highlighting them. And I also want folks to know at the county level and the city level, this was the crisis we needed to address before the COVID-19 crisis, and we're not walking away from meeting that crisis head on as we move through this process. And that's why these operating agreements or these occupancy agreements at places like this include extensions and all the new templates that we have just engaged in the last few weeks include purchase options, so that the state of California can help support through philanthropy, local government support, the opportunity to purchase these sites so we can look more long-term as this being part of our panoply of solutions to address the homeless crisis in the state of California. So it's a long way of saying this. We're not just thinking short-term. We're also beginning to process an orientation of focus and energy around long-term supports so that we can get people off the streets in a permanent way. But again, this could not have happened without FEMA's extraordinary support and partnership, and the partnership of leaders like the leader I'll be asking to the mic in just a second, and that is the head of our homeless task force, the mayor of Sacramento, and someone who's been out front on this issue for years and is here once again to see this crisis of COVID and the crisis of homeless come together in a way that only reinforces this sense of urgency, but moreover reinforces why we're pleased and proud that he's mayor of Sacramento and leading the efforts throughout the state of California. Darrell Steinberg.
Thank you very much, Governor. Let me begin by thanking you. You often talk and have talked frequently over these last days about Californians meeting the moment. You are meeting the moment, and more than meeting the moment in every way here. And we're grateful and proud that you are at the helm and that you are leading not just on this crucial issue of homelessness, but on every other aspect of this unprecedented situation. So thank you. It was a little less than 8 weeks ago, I believe, that you stood in the state capitol and you delivered a State of the State address. What was unique about that State of the State address, it was the first time that anyone could remember that a governor would devote nearly all of his or her address to the issues of homelessness and mental health. And you called it a crisis, and as you said a moment ago, your work with the legislature has put forward hundreds of millions of dollars before the crisis for cities and counties to be able to get people off the streets indoors, to serve their needs, to address their underlying conditions, and to keep them housed. And you asked your task force to come up with a set of recommendations, and much of our work was centered on the idea that maybe it ought to be required to bring people indoors, not just be an option. And you embraced that idea, but the idea was to take, with a great sense of urgency, a recognition that it would probably take several years before we were able to actually implement this in large numbers. And now, less than 8 weeks after that State of the State address, the COVID crisis has given us together an unprecedented opportunity to move up that timeline in a most appropriate and aggressive way. And so I want to thank you for highlighting this issue today, but more importantly, I want to thank you and your administration for providing the resources, the tools, and the technical assistance for our county partners and our city partners to be able to do what we all have wanted to do and now have the opportunity to do, and that is to bring people in, and not by the hundreds, but by the thousands. For you alluded to it appropriately a moment ago. Unsheltered homelessness was a crisis before COVID-19. It is a heightened crisis during this epidemic. And if we do our part now, it could be less of a crisis as we come out of this. That is the incredible opportunity we all have together during this most difficult time. And I know on behalf of all of the mayors and the local elected officials, we are grateful to have a state that is, and an administration that is leaning in, that is partnering with us, that is providing us the resources. Our promise on the other side must be that we are going to do everything we can to implement this strategy as quickly as possible. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I turn it back over to you, Governor.